Welcome to Cooking with Ksenia. Today we are going to make pork tenderloin. Now, the one thing about pork tenderloin, it tends to be relatively dry when you cook it. So, to get around this drying problem, we are going to do something that you do quite frequently with a turkey, and that is brining it. By putting it into a salt water solution, we will actually help to soak up some extra juices into the chunk of pork, and it'll come out much more juicy and flavorful at the end. Again, salts tend to add flavor to food. So first thing is open up our 2 chunks of pork tenderloin. Usually they come in packages of 2. Now, the one thing about pork is especially with tenderloin, is you'll have little bits of fat like this, which we want to remove before we actually get started. So there is a little bit of trimming involved. The other thing you'll have is something they call silver skin. And it's actually part of the ligaments. And again, it's a little tougher. See, I'm cutting through this one. And we want to try to remove as much as possible before we actually do our brining. So, again, slowly working with this, and again, a little bit of extra sort of fat trim we're not going to really need, so that one looks pretty good. Again, we'll take this one, and you can see this nice big band across here. Take it and remove that band over to the back. Actually, this one was a very, very nice piece. Had very little silver skin on it, and not very serious in terms of sort of fat deposits. Alright, so we have our 2 pieces of, and I'm just giving them a quick rinse since they were sitting in their packages. These I bought and froze because sometimes you just don't know when you're going to be using them. So we have our 2 pieces of tenderloin that are ready to go. The next thing we need to do is make up our brine solution. And this one is relatively easy. All we need is a container, about a liter or a quart, whichever one you want to use, of water, half a cup of either kosher salt or pickling salt, they're kind of one and the same, and half a cup of sugar. We'll put those 2 in and dissolve. Now this will take a little bit of mixing in order to get it all to dissolve. Once you take your pork loins out of the brine solution, you need to pat them down with a little bit of paper towel so they're dry. They are pretty well pre-seasoned at this point. I like to put just a hint of pepper on them, and then a little bit of oil, because again, these tenderloins tend to be relatively dry, and the oil actually helps to seal in some of the juices. So now it's a matter of heating up the barbecue and getting it nice and hot, so when the hit's there, it'll sizzle and sear the exterior and hopefully hold a bunch of those juices in. In addition, I have a pear jelly that I'm going to be using as the basting for the top. So once these come out, we'll put it on. It'll provide that little bit of extra sweet, but we'll give you some nice pictures of that once we get there. Now we take our pork loin and we throw it onto the hot grill. Again, got to make sure that your grill is nicely preheated before we do this. We're going to let this thing grill. We'll slowly keep on rolling it. A meat thermometer is a really useful thing here. We want the interior temperature of our pork loin to be about 150 degrees Fahrenheit. At that point we can take it out. It's still going to continue to cook. We'll take it out, we'll put it onto the cutting board inside and let it rest for about 4 or 5 minutes before we actually slice it. It'll allow the juices inside to finish cooking and still maintain all that good juicy texture on the inside. We've been rolling our nice, beautiful pork loin. You always want to make things look nice. If you can make the grill marks with those nice checker pattern or sort of at a bit of an angle, again, once they come to the serving point, it just looks a little better. Does it change the taste or anything? No, but aesthetics sometimes are a good thing to have.
No, because we are not allowed
Guys,
to have a rice cooker. What?
Welcome back. We have taken our pork loin off. It's got the beautiful cross patches on it. We now have to let it sit and rest for a few minutes while it has a chance for all those juices on the interior to get into the thing. And Laverne's going to stick her face into the picture.
Baby Ollie.
And here is our final finished product. We've taken a pear jelly and put it on top because pork likes to have the little bit of sweetness. If you don't like it, you can eat it without, but it definitely adds to the flavor. Bon appetit.
Oh.
Here is our final product, served up with asparagus and hollandaise sauce and a quinoa that was boiled up in a little bit of chicken broth.